You've got to take time. Now notice this passage in Matthew 7. You know, this passage this week, and I'm just telling you the truth, for the first time this week, I actually saw this passage relating to marriage, and it totally hit me that is so like marriage. Notice what it says. He says, why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but don't notice the log in your own? You know, we always look at what's wrong with them, but we don't notice this huge thing that's right in front of our face that's all about us. Right? And then notice what he says. Hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye. Then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. You know, that's a pretty cool verse to think about in regards to the relationship. You know, it's not always the other person. Sometimes it's just me, and I'm just unwilling to deal with it. Notice number 3 on your outline. What else can we do when a marriage gets hard? We commit to doing whatever it takes. We commit to doing whatever it takes. Have you ever been out somewhere and you saw a couple together and they're having fun, they actually have wedding rings on, and they're talking to each other? I know that's a rare thing out in public, right? They're married, they have it all together, it seems like. They're happy, they're doing great, they have great kids. You want to know how that happens? Hard work. Hard work. That's how that happens. You know, if we want that, if we want God to do some amazing thing, it's going to take humility. God, I need help. It's going to take unselfishness. God, help me to not be so selfish, trying to always demand my own way. It's going to take honesty. It's going to take a willingness to change. It's going to take faith in God. And most importantly, it's going to take time. A lot of marriages slowly deteriorate, right? You've had friends like that. It takes time slowly to deteriorate. But if it's going to turn around, it's going to take time. Does that make sense? It's going to take time. It's going to take trusting in God. Some people leave the marriage. They don't take the time. They don't put forth the effort. They think that the next marriage is going to be better. But there's a huge problem with that. Whenever you leave a relationship, look up here for a second. Whenever you leave a relationship, whenever a relationship is broken, there's one huge problem. You want to know what it is? You go into the next relationship. You take yourself. Does that make sense? Did you know that second marriages have a higher percentage of possibility of divorce than your first marriage? You guys know that, right? Because we don't deal with what we left behind. We continue to take it into the next relationship. I want us to notice this verse in Galatians 6:9. The Bible tells us where we're going to get strength, how we're going to do this, what's going to make our relationships better. Galatians 6:9 tells us this. And let us not get tired of doing what is what, guys? Right. Let us not get tired of doing what is right. For after a while, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and what? I just want to say there's too many relationships giving up too fast today. It takes time. It takes hard work. It takes God. It takes working on the issues. But God can make it better. Number 4 on your outline. The fourth way we can handle a hard marriage is to deal with the unsettled problems. It's those 4 things that we talked about earlier, right? These differences, these issues, these unexpected, we accept one another's differences. How do you handle a problem? What do you think? How do you handle a problem? You ever hear the expression, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right. How do you handle a problem? one step at a time. One step at a time. If you have differences in your marriage, and I know every marriage in here does, okay? Let's just be honest, okay? We're in church, but you got to be honest, right? Every marriage has issues. How do you deal with it? One step at a time. You take the smallest issue, the thing we can work on the quickest, and you deal with that. And you know what happens? You get a win under your belt. Yeah, we did it. We worked through it. We resolved it. Then you go to the next thing. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit harder. But you get it. You work on it. And you get another win under your belt. And then you continue to do this time after time after time. One of the hardest things that I ever had to learn as a husband, you want to know what it is? One of the hardest things I ever had to learn as a husband is to do this, is to go to my wife and say these 3 words: I'm sorry. I am sorry. Here's another 3 hard words: I was wrong. Right? Here's another harder 3 words: I love you. I am sorry. I was wrong. I love you. Right? Okay. Hard to do. I want you to notice this verse up here in James 5:16. Let's read this out loud together. James 5:16 tells us this: admit your faults to one another and pray for each other so that you may be healed. Tell somebody, hey, I need some help. Colossians 3:13, the next verse on your outline. This is one that we used last week, but it's so important in marriage, I just wanted to use it again. Colossians 3:13 says,